Meet Kara Zor-El, better known as Supergirl. But forget everything you know about superhero costumes and flashy symbols. Kara doesn't live in a tidy city, and she has no interest in playing the role of savior. Her only companion in this cruel galaxy, adrift in space, is her trusty dog, Krypto. She has chosen to be alone, regularly ignoring urgent messages from her cousin, Clark Kent, back on Earth. Clark repeatedly begs her to leave her self-imposed exile and join him in a quiet, peaceful life. Kara refuses. She prefers the numb, silent bitterness of being completely alone. Today is her 23rd birthday, but instead of celebrating, he lands on a desolate, lawless planet under the waning aura of a red sun. The harsh stellar environment has stripped him of his divine Kryptonian invulnerability, leaving him utterly mortal, bleeding, and vulnerable. Drinks away his sorrows in the local alien bars, using the red sun's suppressing rays to experience the dangerous thrill of human weakness alone. But peace is a luxury that Kara is not to be afforded. While Kara is distracted, a brutal, merciless band of intergalactic pirates known as the Brigands attack a nearby outpost. Their fearsome leader, the Creme of the Yellow Hills, a ruthless butcher known throughout the planet, is not just looking for loot, he's looking for blood. The head of the stricken family, desperate for his family's safety, willingly gives up all the keys to his vault, but Creme leaves no witnesses. In a brutal murder, the entire family is killed in seconds, leaving only one survivor, a teenager named Ruthie Mary Knoll, who hides in fear as her entire world sinks into a sea of blood. Ruthie's grief is replaced by a consuming fire. Armed with nothing but her father's legendary, expertly crafted sword, the orphaned girl rushes straight into the rough tavern where Kara is drinking her drink. Ruthie slams the sword down on the bar table, piercing the loud music, and makes a deadly offer to all the mercenaries in the house. Whoever brings her Creme's severed head will inherit the priceless inheritance. The bandits laugh at her grief. A large, burly alien thug approaches, taunts the girl, and forcibly snatches the sword from her trembling hand. Instinct consumes Kara. Despite being completely drained of energy by the red sun, Kara's deadly combat training kicks in. She engages in a brutal fight, breaking bones and throwing the thug through tables until he forcefully returns the blade to Ruthie. But when the tearful girl begs Kara to use her powers to find Creme, Kara coldly refuses. She tells the child that revenge is a black hole that will swallow her up, and turns her back on the orphan girl's desperate plea. That refusal turns out to be the biggest mistake of Kara's life. As Kara turned to head back to her small landing ship, Creme and his band of bandits were already lurking in the shadows, attempting to hijack her ship. Krypto sensed danger immediately. The loyal dog bared its teeth to protect its master and lunged straight for Creme's throat. But Creme was ready. Before Krypto could bite, Creme pulled out a weapon loaded with a deadly brigand poison dart, a toxic synthetic poison known as Radinia, and plunged it right into Krypto's chest. As Krypto fell to the frozen ground, gasping and trembling, Creme grinned evilly, hijacking Kara's ship and soaring into space while Kara screamed into the void. Kara takes her dying companion to an alien medical facility, but there she is met with a horrific death sentence, the ultimate Radinia toxin. It paralyzes the body's organs in just 3 days, and taking Krypto off planet will only accelerate the spread of the poison, killing him instantly. The only antidote in the entire galaxy is a rare antidote, which Krypto himself personally possesses. Kara looks at Krypto, the last surviving remnant of her destroyed home, her only remaining family, and the cold, terrifying rage wells up within her. With less than 72 hours to go, no spaceship, and a deadly poison burning through her dog's veins, Supergirl prepares to travel to the darkest corners of the universe to track down a monster. As Krypto lies on life support and near death, she has less than 3 days to find Creme, steal the antidote, and save her dog. But without her ship, she's stranded. Determined and desperate, Kara embarks on the Wormhole Express, a rugged, dangerous intergalactic transportation system that traverses lawless territories. However, she's not alone. Ruthie, the vengeful orphan whose family Creme brutally murdered, silently boards the transport and stubbornly follows Kara. Kara tries to push her away and warns her that the journey will end in bloodshed, but Ruthie refuses to back down. She wants Krem's head, and Kara is her only way to get across the galaxy. Midway through the journey, disaster strikes in deep space. A group of ruthless space pirates known as the Sklarian Raiders ambush the transport ship and raid the cabins to rob every passenger on board. They forcibly disarm Ruthie, steal her prized family sword, and strip the civilians of all their belongings. But Kara realizes something important. The transport ship is rapidly heading towards a yellow sun. If she can step directly into the starlight, her divine powers will return. Kara dons a rigid deep space suit and attempts to breach the airlock into open space. But before she can reach the starlight, a massive pirate grabs her and throws her into the void of space without a protective helmet. Instant suffocation and sub-zero cosmic frost freeze her entire body within seconds. Kara floats motionless in the dark void, her pulse rapidly slowing. Just as her heart is about to stop, the harsh rays of the yellow sun strike her bare face. Solar energy rushes through her veins, instantly breaking the ice in her body and awakening her godlike Kryptonian powers. Kara re-enters the pirate ship like a roaring storm. Within seconds, she has scattered the attackers, reclaimed Ruthie's sword, and brutally beaten the pirate crew until they begged for mercy. During interrogation, the terrified pirates reveal Krem's current whereabouts. She has fled to Belquis, a dying, lawless frontier planet on the brink of total destruction. Belquis is in complete chaos, with pirates ravaging the planet for its remaining resources and raiding local towns and kidnapping women to forcibly repopulate their own depleted population. Kara and Ruthie land on the scorched, chaotic surface of Belquis. Seeking information about the bandits, they head straight to a rough, lawless frontier bar. To gather information, Kara engages in a high-stakes, brutal gunfight with a group of giant alien mercenaries. Armed with unstoppable strength under the planet's artificial magical sun, Kara brutally breaks the arm of a giant alien monster, which sets off an all-out, murderous brawl in the bar. Just as Kara was wiping out the attacker's womb, the bar's doors open with a deafening clang. Out of the smoke emerges Lobo, the immortal, extremely violent, mentally deranged cosmic bounty hunter. Unforgiving, unstoppable, and notorious for killing entire species on his own planet, Lobo has arrived in Belquis to hunt down a high-value brigand named Drom Buxton. Seeing Kara and Ruthie encroaching on his bounty territory, Lobo turns his bloodthirsty gaze directly on Supergirl. With Crypto running out of time and an immortal murderous bounty hunter blocking his path, Kara now stands on the brink of total destruction. Tensions run high inside the devastated Belquis bar as Lobo stands face to face with Supergirl. Ruthie, knowing Lobo's fearsome reputation as an immortal, invincible savage, steps forward and offers to hire him to find Krem. Lobo laughs off her offer, but Kara steps in between them before bloodshed can occur. Realizing it would be wrong to mess with Kara unnecessarily, Lobo decides to pursue his own target, Drom Buxton, and storms off into the night. A local refugee couple, Marek and his wife Laurel, take Kara and Ruthie into their small home. They report that bandits regularly terrorize their village, kidnapping young girls for forced labor and worse. As the storm rages outside, Kara sits with Ruthie in the dimly lit house. Seeing the fierce fire of revenge in the child's eyes, Kara finally decides to shatter Ruthie's idealized idea of Kryptonian divinity by revealing the dark, terrifying truth of her past. Kara reveals that unlike her famous cousin Clark, who was sent to Earth as a newborn and raised in a loving family, Kara was already a girl at the time of the destruction of Krypton. She remembers every scream. When the planet's center exploded violently, Jor-El sent Kal-El away a rocket, and Kara, her mother, and a group of surviving citizens fled to Argo City, a fragment of Krypton preserved inside a desperate force field dome. For a while, life inside Argo City seemed safe, but deadly radiation began to leak from the shattered kryptonite crystals that surrounded the force field. Slow, painful kryptonite poisoning gradually consumed the population. Kara watched her own mother die in excruciating pain. Before her mother died, Kara's father abandoned his own escape route and built a small protective capsule to send young Kara through space to Earth. Where Clark sees Earth as his home and humanity as his family, to Kara, an eternal ghost, having lost everything Earth was never home. It was simply a graveyard of his trauma. It is this enormous burden that keeps him locked away in his heart, and Krypto, the last living part of his true home, is the only thing keep emotionally connected to the universe.
As Kara is consumed by the tragedy of her memories, she doesn't realize that a terrible betrayal is unfolding before her eyes. The desperate couple who have given them shelter have laced Kara's drink with a powerful, alien-level sleeping pill. Merrick and his wife had lost her own daughter to bandits weeks earlier, and in a desperate attempt to save their child, they sell Supergirl directly to Krem's attackers. The deep, intoxicating sleep overwhelms Kara's senses, breaking down her immune system. Armed with heavy weapons, Krem and his thugs burst through the door. Sick, dizzy, and vomiting from the poison, Kara tries to resist, but Krem stands before her and, smiling a cruel sneer, aims a deadly blast directly at her head. Drenched and vomiting from the poisoned drink, Kara staggers through the rubble of the refugee camp. Krem laughs, thinking he has finally brought Supergirl to her knees. But Kara violently forces herself to release the poison, causing a massive burst of adrenaline to blast Krem's initial assault team through the walls and out. Just as Krem prepares to use his heavy weaponry, Lobo bursts into the compound. Lobo isn't here for Krem or Kara, he's after the notorious bandit official, Drum Buxton. As Lobo tears through the attackers, the small village descends into utter bloody chaos, leaving behind a trail of dismembered limbs and explosive destruction. Using the fierce fighting as cover, Kara succeeds in freeing dozens of kidnapped village women held captive in the bandits' transport trucks. Meanwhile, Ruthie sees her golden opportunity. She goes after Kareem with her sword raised, ready to plunge her father's sword straight into her spine. But just before the fatal blow can be struck, Kara intervenes, grabbing Ruthie's wrist and stopping the sword. Kara pleads with the girl, warning her that this cold-blooded murder will taint her soul forever. Ruthie explodes in anger, screaming at Kara for interfering with her trial. She lashes out at Supergirl, accusing her of using alcohol, apathy, and a wall of emotion to hide from her own tragic loss. Ruthie's sharp words pierce Kara's soul. Realizing that the child will never give up her bloodlust, Kara decides to leave Ruthie and hunt down the remaining bandits all alone. Through intimidation and physical threats, Kara forces local alien informants to reveal the location of Krem's secret hideout, the uninhabited, unexplored moon, Barrent. Desperate for time to find Krypto, Kara forces a smuggler to take her to Barrent. However, Kara agrees to wear a blindfold and a hood for the journey to hide her identity from approaching enemy scouts. That blind faith proves to be a near-fatal mistake. The ship lands on Barrent. Kara steps into the open sky and removes her hood, and then a terrifying realization hits her. Barrent is orbiting under the harsh rays of a green sun. The moment Kara's body is exposed to the green starlight, her cellular structure completely collapses. Her superhuman powers vanish in an instant. Powerless, completely paralyzed by nausea and extreme weakness, Kara falls unconscious on the frozen alien dust. Kara is completely powerless under the suffocating green sun inside the dark, ice-cold dungeon of Barrent. Every breath feels like swallowing broken glass. On the other side of the cell, Lobo, chained to the wall, complains about the noise, completely silent about their impending doom. But Ruthie, who secretly followed Kara onto the smuggling ship, enters the prison corridor. Ruthie finds the keys, and with her sharp instincts and unyielding determination, immobilizes an armed guard. Lobo demands her release and promises to tear the brigands to pieces in exchange. Ruthie reluctantly unties her heavy chains, while Lobo goes on a bloodthirsty rampage through the facility, finding and brutally beheading his high-value victim, Drum Buxton. Luck finally turns. As the clouds clear over Barrent, the green sun sets, and the bright golden rays of a nearby yellow sun bathe Kara's battered body. The solar radiation floods her Kryptonian cells like rocket fuel. The toxicity of the kryptonite in her blood burns away instantly. Kara emerges from the wreckage enveloped in a shimmering golden glow, her familiar blue uniform and bright red cape once again in place. Supergirl is back in full force, and her rage is boundless.
With Drum's severed head secured, Lobo explodes the orbital base's core and escapes into space, sending Cream's shattered flagship crashing into the rocky canyon below. Kara flies straight through the blasted wreckage, desperately searching for Cream. But on the ground, Cream's surviving elite squad ambushes Ruthie, surrounding her with heavy plasma rifles. Cream emerges from the smoke carrying a special sniper rifle loaded with a single deadly kryptonite-laced bullet designed to kill a Kryptonian instantly. With time running out, only hours left before the poison in Krypto's body becomes irreversible, Kara lands forcefully between Cream's team and Ruthie. Cream aims the kryptonite rifle directly at Kara's heart, ready to pull the trigger and end the last daughter of Krypton forever. Cream aimed the kryptonite-loaded rifle directly at Kara's chest, a cruel smile spreading across her face. Expected Kara to cower in fear, begging for her life. But instead, Supergirl took a step forward, her eyes burning with unquenchable heat. Before Cream could pull the trigger, Kara was faster than the bullet, disarming Cream in a flash of golden red, and sending her entire elite guard crashing into the canyon wall. Ruthie drew her father's sword and rushed towards the defeated Cream on the ground. Tears streaming down her face, she raised the sword high, ready to stab Cream in her chest to avenge her slain family. But Kara placed her hand on the girl's shoulder. Kara looked into her eyes and reminded her that if Cream was killed, her father will not come back. It will only poison her soul forever, leaving her as empty as the villain they have fallen before. Ruthie hesitates, her body trembling. Realizing the profound truth of Kara's words, she lowers her sword, finally abandoning her poisonous desire for revenge. But Supergirl will not let the dangerous monsters live to cause further havoc. As Ruthie turns away, Kara coldly kills Cream, ending the pirate forever, and recovers the vial containing the radium antidote. With only seconds left on the clock, Kara races across the galaxy to the medical center. She injects the antidote directly into Krypto's veins. Slowly, the poison drains from the dog's body. Krypto opens his eyes with a soft growl and licks Kara's tearful face. Ruthie prepares to say her final goodbyes, deeply grateful for Kara's guidance and protection. But seeing the young orphan alone, Kara offers her a place to celebrate the rest of her 23rd birthday together. For the first time in years, Kara's cold, lonely heart begins to heal. After saying goodbye to Ruthie, Kara makes a crucial decision. She travels through space towards Earth and is finally embraced by Clark Kent. She realizes that while Krypton may be her lost past forever, she no longer has to wander the universe alone. A brother, a family, and a real home await.